What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, and on today's episode we're going to do something a little bit different here. As you've been able to tell from the title and the thumbnail, I'm going to be turning these Amazon special bootleg plates into a hardcore championship. This is something that I wanted to do a few years ago, just never really got around to it. As you can tell, these plates are super thin. Again, these are just pretty cheap bootleg plates. I think we ended up getting this belt for like $100 or something like that, $150. Nothing too special. The strap was super terrible. And again, this is something that I wanted to do a few years ago, so I don't have the strap anymore. I'm not even 100% sure where it ended up. That's no big deal. I just made a template using some images online. So yeah, as you can tell here, the green was the original. That was the plan from a few years ago. That was in dry erase, and unfortunately dry erase marker turns permanent after you let it sit for years. So what I did was I just went back over my lines and sort of refined everything with the black Sharpie, just to get sort of the better idea as to sort of where all this stuff needs to go, and then yeah, just kind of go from there. Again, these are like 2mm, probably brass. They're definitely not zinc. I'm not 100% sure. The bolts, I guess, if that's what you want to call them, are like these little foldable, I don't even know what these are, but basically you just put like something flathead in there, like a screwdriver or something, and you just bend both of these parts back to hold it onto the strap. Those will be cut off. I'm actually going to replace them with these, which are just stud or stud and screw posts, like Chicago screws, but they're a little smaller. Yeah. So these will be, again, this belt is going to be for the hardcore championship, so I'm not super worried about the finish looking incredibly professional. I've re-leathered tons of belts in previous years and put tons of time into them. This was just a project that I kind of sort of wanted to throw together because I thought it would be fun. And I thought it would be cool to sort of record the process because, you know, there's not a lot of in-depth videos on belts and belt re-leathering and belt, like, you know, just crafting and things like that. So I figured, you know, what the heck, why not? So we have these little guys. I actually have one out here because I made a bunch of these little washers. I don't know if that'll focus too good, but anyway, these are just leather washers to go onto the studs, and the main reason is because I'm using a very thin strap. I'm using like a 2 to 3mm strap. And of course, if this thing will focus, you can kind of see how far that pokes through. And if you spin the stud, like the screw part, that will still be showing. So the plates will have a lot of room to sort of wiggle. So I made these because they don't really disrupt the head on the back, because I do plan on covering the screws and the snaps. There will be a little bit of professionalism in this video, but nothing, or in this project, but nothing to the standard of like a TV belt. So I just made these, figured, you know, kind of bridge that gap a little bit, make this a little bit of a tighter fit once you put the strap on, and then of course put the screws in. Now if I can get these pulled apart. But again, 2mm brass plates. I'll probably say that 1,000 times just so that way everybody's aware. I do have these marked because these are bootlegs, so the studs are not in the exact same place on all the plates. These are not machine manufactured. These are just, they're just sort of here. I'll probably go through and kind of knock some of these points off too, because they're really sharp. And I do plan on displaying this belt somewhere, so I would rather that not like cut into the leather strap, or worse, cut into whatever I decide to display it on. Now, as far as the entire process of this goes, I will time-lapse a lot of it because I will be dremeling a lot, so there will be a lot of loud noises and things. Cutting the strap. It's already marked out. I'll show you the leather that I'm going to be using because the strap's already marked out and ready to cut. So I will time-lapse that. But yeah, this is just like a roughly 3mm leather that I just had. So I decided that would probably be best. Normally you would use a much thicker leather just for TV accuracy. And the plates are usually, if done correctly, they're usually a 4mm zinc, so they're way heavier. So you definitely need like that extra leather thickness to hold these plates up. But with this being the hardcore championship, I figured, what the heck, this little thin stuff here would actually be kind of nice, because over time, it will start to wear out and soften and things like that. And it was just a lot easier to use. And I also already had it all, so it cost me something years ago. It didn't cost me anything to do now, which is kind of the topic of this whole thing. Is just, I'm basically just using things that I already have, tools that I already have, screws that I already have, plates that I already had, snaps that I already had, because I've got bags and bags of the snaps, both gold and silver. So yeah, this will be a pretty neat little project, I think. Like I said, I'll do some small time lapses just to show you the process of how I'm cutting things, but ultimately everything will be time lapsed with nice little music. You won't have to hear loud noises and stuff. And then of course the strap will be shown, and then we'll just kind of pick it up from there. Alright, so this is the rough placement for the plates. They are not tightened down. I'm still waiting on the screw posts to cure. That'll probably be something that I do tomorrow. But yeah, so this will just kind of give you a general idea as to what the belt's going to look like. There are some green marks from the previous times that I drew on them. I am going to go over the plates with a nice brown wash to sort of mangle them up, dirty them up a little bit. But yeah, so this is the strap painted as well. There was a small little video kind of showcasing that a little bit. I didn't want to go too crazy, because I figured once I added the tape and everything, that would sort of add more detail, and then of course the snaps. But yeah, I'm super happy with the way that it's turning out so far. Once the screws are dry, screw posts are cured rather, I'll flip it over and kind of show you what those look like. I just don't want to mess with them too much right now, flipping this belt back and forth. This is the result as of right now. There's tons of stuff left to do, dirty the plates up, put all the tape on. I'm probably going to go in with some more of the colors that I put on the plate or the strap, and bend these plates in and sort of just kind of just dirty it up, just weather it up a little bit and make it look a little bit more ring used. This is just kind of a throw around project, so I'll probably fold it and toss it and all kinds of cool stuff. So yeah, this is where we are right now. Alright, so this is the Hardcore Championship project, finished, to be determined. Everything that I want to do to this belt as far as like physical goes is finished. There are some minor little details that I'll probably change and kind of tweak as time goes on, but all in all, this belt is 100% finished. So as you can see here, the plates have been cut. They've been the studs have been JB welded onto the back. That's not a very professional way to do it. However, this is not a very professional belt that I put together. So this is just a sort of throw together project to finish everything. You saw the time lapse of me cutting the plates. However, you did not see me meticulously adding the studs, which you'll see on the back once we get this thing flipped over. Yeah, it was a process, and just sort of trying to get everything put together, make it make sense, and then of course line up with some of the holes and things that are pre-punched for the original plates and the way that they were set up. One of the main things that I'll probably go over is the lettering for the Hardcore Champion part. I just used a Sharpie But I just don't know. I feel like if I rub on this too hard, it comes right off. And of course my camera's not going to focus on my finger. But yeah, it just rubs off. So I'll probably go back over with like a Sharpie paint pen, put it on that way. The original was probably just put on with a Sharpie, I'm assuming, or some sort of like generic paint pen. But yeah, so the plates, you know, they are what they are. They're the 2mm brass bootlegs from Amazon for like $100. I took liberties with the tape because every reference photo that I found and that I was looking at for this belt was completely different. This one I sort of went for the one that Steve Blackman held that had the blue, the Ultimate Warrior blue, showing and very predominant on the strap. Rhino also held it. Big Boss Man also held this one. Christian, the limo scene where he is holding the belt up, and this whole entire plate right here is missing. I just wanted that blue. I wanted that Ultimate Warrior blue because the original belts, from what I have seen, from all the pictures and videos and things that I've seen of this belt, was more red. It was way more red whenever they initially gave it to Mankind. And that's fine, but that looked a little too new. It looked a little too fresh, so I definitely went in with the blue and sort of just dirtied it up a little bit. This belt took me... The strap took me way longer than it should have. I actually had to make... This is the second strap. The first strap I had to trash because I had it fully painted and did a couple of weathering techniques with the Dremel. Really liked them. Went way too overboard with it. Completely ruined the strap. So thankfully I had enough leather around because that's been the whole process, or the whole meaning behind this project, is that I was only using things that I had with very minimal purchasing. The only thing that I actually purchased was the backing, and I'll go into that in a second. So thankfully I had enough of this like 3-4mm leather to put this together again. Yeah, that would have been a tragedy because I painted over the whole thing black again. I was going to restart fresh, but the Dremel cut way into the leather, so there was just tons of cuts and divots in the leather, and it just looked stupid. So yeah, I decided to do a second strap, and thankfully it turned out really well. Now for the logo plate, I don't know where the logo plate was or is for these plates. These plates were just stored in a box. After the move, a bunch of my stuff just sort of jumbled around. So I just kind of guesstimated a little bit, took a stencil off of the internet, and then of course I didn't add it because I didn't have it. But I liked the belt without this. I think that it kind of adds to the more worn look. These sort of probably broken off super easy. So yeah, it was just a really cool way to sort of add, you know, more weathering to the belt without, you know, taking away from what the original looked like. Again, the strap has got tons of colors on it. It is a black base. There's brown, there's red, there's two different kinds of blue, more of this like aqua color. The snaps have been sanded. I did have a little bit more of this aqua color on here to look like corrosion on these, but I added them before I sanded them. So once I sanded them, it basically just cleared it all off. So I might go back in and kind of dry brush that in a little bit, make it look like it's been more corroded, like it's been wet, and just, you know, overall damage. But yeah, so that's the front of the belt. We'll flip this thing over and I will show you the back of it real fast. Because there's just so much to talk about on this belt, because there's just so many different things that went into making this. So yeah, let's flip it over and let's go over that. Now, as far as the strap goes, again, the leather I already had, but the backing I did not. And I was not going to put an expensive backing on this, with this being just a project belt, just something sort of to display, to, you know, fold and kind of just, I don't know, just enjoy. A lot of the belts that I do, I like to try to keep them in pristine condition. But this one is the complete opposite. This one will wear over time. You know, if I snap it together and snaps fall off, or eventually they break off, I don't care. I'll just sand it down so that way these little metal bits don't like cut your fingers whenever you're trying to deal with them. And yeah, so this, the leather, the backing, I did not have. This is the only purchased item. Was a eBay find. It was just a generic vinyl material that sort of resembled leather, and it was $14 for a ton of it. So I was like, absolutely, that is the way that we will go, because it just makes the most sense with this belt being super cheap. And yeah, so you can see that there are tons of studs added in all kinds of random places because these plates were all over the place, and it was just way easier to sort of add the studs as I went, because I had them already marked out before I cut them, but once cut, they kind of messed with my stud placements a little bit, especially with the strap. So I went in and sort of marked new places and tried to gouge as much of the metal as I could to make sure that the JB Weld and the studs stuck together really well. JB Weld is definitely not the route to go if you're wanting to put plates onto leather. But again, this is a very cheap project, and JB Weld is like $9 for a ton of it, 2 good sized tubes. I got the nice syringe that you just squeeze and it does both at the same time. Then you just mix them up, put it on there, let it cure for 24 hours, and then you are pretty much good to go. So yeah, just super cheap vinyl, eBay, 14 bucks for, like I said, a ton of it. I've probably got enough to where I could do 2 more of these if I wanted to. But I don't have any more of the strap leather due to the mishap of me screwing the first strap up. So if I did these again, it would have to be, that would have to be factored into the overall price, because again, these are just, it was just a project, just a fun project in between things that I have going on right now, just to break up the monotony and kind of give me something a little different to work on and spend my time on. But there is the strap. The flexibility is fantastic, especially considering that there's only like sections of plates here and there and everywhere else. Of course, the flexibility will sort of break in more over time as this belt's folded and manipulated. I will probably just end up hanging it on the wall or on like an easel stand as just like sort of a talk about piece, just a conversation starter as to how all this stuff sort of kind of gets done and gets produced. So I'm super happy with the final result. As you can tell here, there is a little bit more strap here than there normally would be. This is a very rough first cast, but I took the normal tip that you would get for belts. You can usually get those on like A&J's, or I think Wrestling Superstore might actually still sell them. Made a mold of it and then just cast it in a really lightweight resin. Just to add to the belt, I might add this, I don't know. Of course it won't be white, it'll be gold, but it'll be like heavily weathered. But the regular tip would have been way too heavy for this strap. And it would have just made this belt look absolutely ridiculous. If I could get a super cheap tip that was made in like the similar style of the brass 2mm, they're really almost even 1mm, that probably would have worked a whole lot better. However, that's really hard to find unless you get a bootleg one, and 9 times out of 10 the bootleg is only a single piece, and it's usually just screwed into the strap, which looks ridiculous. So I will just probably take this, because I also have the backing, or I will take 2 of these and put here, and then of course here, and then just sort of fill in the seam, sand it down, make it look nice, paint it gold, weather it a lot so that we can't even really tell, and it won't add any weight to the overall strap. So I think that'll be a nice little addition. I might do that, I might not. Tons of videos that I've seen have the tip, and just as many don't have the tip. So, and for the most part, with displaying this belt, you won't see the back, so ultimately the tip doesn't really matter. I didn't paint it there because I don't know if I'm going to do that or not. But yeah, so I mean the belt will be probably displayed like this, if I had to guess, in the folded position. So you really won't even see the back. So I did a whole lot of stuff to the screws and the studs to make it look really nice back there. And the majority of the time you probably won't even see it. So it's just a lot of hidden stuff. I didn't really want to do a hide my crime sort of attempt on this belt. I wanted it to look nice. I wanted it to look like I put time into it. I wanted it to look like I put effort into it. And I think overall I accomplished that. The duct tape has been sanded, so it looks really nice and worn. All of the plates have been, they've had a brown wash over the top of them to make them look extra dirty. I've wiped the majority of the brown wash off, and then taken the 220 sandpaper, 220 grit sandpaper, holy, and yeah, just went over the plates and really kind of roughed them up, made them look, you know, dropped and worn, and you know, just overall, just a good look for the belt. There are a couple of places like the duct tape that goes onto the back of the strap that doesn't really want to stay, so I might actually take that all the way around and maybe bring it up over here. But again, that's all stuff that will be done over time. For, you know, the shortness, I guess, of this video, general shortness of this video, because it's probably still pretty long. I won't do the little small tedious stuff on camera, because this is the final product. This is what I am producing. This is what I am showing. That is done, is final. So I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, let me know, whatever. If you want to do this on your own, feel free to message me, or you can comment on here, or you can message me on my Instagram, which is just Matt Makes. I'll put that here. YouTube's getting kind of weird about me putting links in my description with not having a lot of backlog of videos, which is insane considering that I have like 150 videos on my one channel. But yeah, if you want to message me and we can kind of talk through the whole entire process, I can help you locate a super cheap belt. I can let you know all of the ins and outs and tips that I used to make this happen. The dremeling process. I can show you links for leather, show you links for the backing, you know, whatever. Or there is the alternative route of me actually making you one of these, which is also possible. You know, it's not something that I would prefer to do, because again, you know, I don't want to put a whole lot of money and effort into a belt that's supposed to look like it's trashed. But if that is something that you are interested in, if you are interested in having one of these made, I can do that, and we can talk price. Prices will vary just on stuff that I use. If you want a thicker strap, you know, a more realistic TV style strap, that's possible. If you want, I don't really want to go the 4mm plate route. I feel like that would be a huge headache to cut through. So I'd like to try to keep it on the 2mm side. But yeah, there's tons of options. Again, if that's something that you're really interested in and you really want to make it happen, we can. I can't guarantee the price is going to be very friendly, because these do take a lot of time and they do take a lot of effort. But I'll do my best to sort of kind of work in quality and budget at the exact same time. But yeah, no guarantees. So with that, I've done the whole like, subscribe, yada yada yada. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I could really just talk about this belt for a whole long time, because there is a lot to talk about. This is a very different process from just a re-leather or a send-out strap or whatever. So it's been a pretty crazy learning process, but I definitely enjoyed it. And I don't know, maybe I'll do some other belt. Maybe I'll take on another hardcore title, or maybe I'll do something else. I don't know. But anyway, I'll do a small little montage. I might try to do it in here. If it doesn't look good, then of course you didn't see the one in here. You saw the one outside. But it is pretty gloomy now that it's fall. So I don't know. We'll just sort of see. I'll fit it in here somewhere. And yeah, that's it. So if you enjoyed, you know, do the usual. Let me know what you think. If you want to comment or message me about it, feel free to do so. And until next time, I will see you all in the next one.